Durham Region raises new permanent Mississaugas flag. Cameron McDonald, the Regional Municipality of Durham. Durham. The following statement was issued on behalf of John Henry, Regional Chair and Chief Executive Officer for the Regional Municipality of Durham, on Monday, June 21st. It is with great honor I acknowledge Indigenous Peoples Day in Durham Region. A reminder to all of us to take a moment to show respect for the heritage, diverse cultures, and achievements of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. To reflect upon their outstanding achievements, significant community contributions, and collective challenges. We are proud to stand with Indigenous communities. As a sign of respect and in recognition of the community and lands on which we reside, today the region unveiled a permanent home for the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation flag at regional headquarters. This momentous occasion confirms an allyship that is working to ensure a positive future for all residents to make sure Durham Region is a place where people are proud of their heritage, the very foundation for their identity. And, while Durham Region continues to celebrate Indigenous communities, we must also truthfully acknowledge the ongoing and devastating impact of colonialism. We must work toward reconciliation by realizing the calls to action to help stop racism and injustices. Because the time is far overdue for honest reflection about our shared history with Indigenous communities. We need to continue our efforts to provide culturally safe spaces in the region. Take the time during Indigenous History Month, and well beyond, to reflect on our relationships, both past and present, with the Indigenous peoples of the lands we have the privilege to be on. An archived video of the flag-raising ceremony will be available online at durham.ca/live streaming.
Kawartha Lakes Council seeking more resident input on proposed Lindsay ATV route. Dan Kearns, Local Journalism Initiative reporter for The Standard. Kawartha Lakes. The City of Kawartha Lakes has decided to get further resident input before approving a route for ATVs to use through Lindsay. As part of the city's off-road vehicle (ORV) use of city roads pilot project, councillors had approved a route for ATVs to use through Lindsay at a committee of the whole meeting on Tuesday, June 1st. The proposed route was from the Victoria Rail Trail (VRT) trailhead at Logie Street to King Street, then King Street to Lindsay Street to Wellington Street to Victoria Avenue to Elgin Street to Angeline Street to Thunder Bridge Road, and Thunder Bridge Road to the other rail trail trailhead. However, at a council meeting on Tuesday, June 15th, councillors felt it would be best to send the route back to the community to get their feelings on it. The large majority of people in Lindsay do not want ORVs on their streets, Deputy Mayor Pat O'Reilly explained, stating he also feels this decision is premature. The Deputy Mayor proposed the route be advertised in local newspapers for a few weeks, a link be included to allow residents to provide their input on the city's online resident consultation page, Jump In, and to have a report brought back to Council in September. Ward 3 Councillor Doug Elmsley felt it would be prudent for Council to give this issue more time before making a decision. I certainly think we have the responsibility to make sure people have their say, he said. But Ward 5 Councillor Pat Dunn had an issue with the city waiting until September to make a decision on this route, noting the resident input the city has received so far has been pretty consistent. I don't think there's anything new that's going to be added to it, Councillor Dunn stated. Ward 1 Councillor Emmett Yeo called for Council and residents to come up with a compromise on this issue of ORVs in Lindsay. Mayor Andy Letham also weighed in, explaining Council has time to make a decision on this route. There's no rush here. There's no big rush to do this for the fall. I'm sorry, he said. He also took exception with the idea of Council needing to make a quick decision before getting further resident input. I was always under the impression we were elected to represent our constituents, Mayor Letham said. A recorded vote was held on the Deputy Mayor's motion, and the motion passed by a slight margin of 5-4.
2021 Port Perry Fair has been cancelled. Dan Kearns, Local Journalism Initiative reporter for The Standard. Scugog. The 2021 edition of the Port Perry Fair has been cancelled due to COVID-19 concerns. The decision was announced by the Port Perry Agricultural Society in an open letter from President Barbie Bishop on Tuesday, June 15th. Due to the ever-changing threat of the COVID-19 virus, we feel it is our responsibility to do everything possible to avoid risk to you. The health and safety of our community, participants, volunteers, and fairgoers is our priority, the letter read. Ms. Bishop's letter also stated the Agricultural Society is working on a few events which will be announced in the coming weeks. On the Port Perry Fair's website at www.portperryfair.com, the Agricultural Society has stated they are considering hosting a virtual fair, but the details have not been confirmed at this time. Should we decide to go forward with this option, we will post more information on how that will work on this site, the Fair Board stated on the website. This year's fair was scheduled to be held during the September Labor Day weekend.
Forsythe Family Farm featured in Local Food Report 2021. Courtney McClure for The Standard. Uxbridge. Forsythe Family Farms is being featured in Ontario's Local Food Report this year. It, the Ontario Local Food Report, was to highlight food literacy, explained Mrs. Forsythe. It's one way farms have been trying to reach out during COVID. Leslie and her family developed their educational program last spring. They wanted to bring what they do on the farm to video and create activities for school children to learn more about farming. Forsythe Farms offers a wide variety of educational programs for children. Teachers must sign up on the Forsythe Family Farm website in order to buy the package for their class. Signing up also gives them access to the program videos and lessons. Kids can enjoy the sights and sounds of the local farm, located in Uxbridge, through virtual field trips. Jim and Leslie Forsythe have created these packages to allow kids to explore and experience their farm as if they were there on the property. Throughout their trip, kids can learn about food and where their food comes from. But there are more than just videos available as an educational resource for the classroom. According to Leslie Forsythe, newsletters about the farm and activity sheets for the kids are included within the packages. Mrs. Forsythe said this gives teachers an easy way to access agricultural information. While creating the packages, Leslie and her family tried to meet the Ontario schools' curriculum and expectations. Their goal with the programs is to bring the farm to kids and make it relevant to their lives. Our job, mainly, is making it, the lessons, and making it fun, so it's not just sitting there saying, "This is a chicken and this is a sheep," explained Leslie. The most rewarding part is the kids, the joy they have connecting with the farm and getting away from technology, explained Mrs. Forsythe. If you're considering a career in farming, Leslie said there are many opportunities available in the agricultural field. Find an area you're interested in and follow your dream, she advised. Her husband, Jim, was a first-generation farmer. He grew up in Toronto, but always had an interest in becoming a farmer. Farming isn't just what you see on the farm. There's so much more involved in the background, she added. Mrs. Forsythe said, once pandemic restrictions have lifted, more families should spend some time at the local farm. The farm is such a natural place for people to get outside and enjoy being together. There are plenty of farms in Durham Region to visit.
Brock Council comments on apartment building proposal. Dan Kearns, Local Journalism Initiative reporter for The Standard. Brock. Brock Township councillors had a chance to provide their input on a proposed development of 2 apartment buildings in Beaverton during a meeting on Monday, June 21st. At the meeting, Ashley Kennedy from EcoView Consulting presented the 3-story, 58-unit condominium development plan to be located on Mara Road to members of council. There will be surface and underground parking. There will be 60 parking spaces under the building for the residents and 18 parking spaces above ground for visitors. 4 of those parking spaces will be barrier-free, Ms. Kennedy explained. However, Ward 2 Councillor Claire Doble was concerned this would not be enough parking to fit the demand. I'm just thinking from a municipal perspective. I fear cars will be parked all along the side of the road because I do anticipate this will not be adequate parking, she said. Ward 4 Councillor Kriya Pettingill suggested the company add areas for community gardening for residents of the property. Ward 3 Councillor Walter Schumer asked if the Development Corporation has any demographic in mind they want to market this development to. It's kind of wide open at this point, but the units will all have 2 bedrooms, so that may limit the specific demographic interested in these properties, responded Ms. Kennedy.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.